Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a new episode of the ScoreKeepers podcast, where we're always keeping the score. I'm one of your hosts, Robert. To the left of me, we have Stats and Research.
Yo.
And of course, to the right of me, we have Fly Eagles Fly. We have Clayton.
Howdy.
And also, in parts unknown, we have Khalil. Okay, yeah. So I played cricket. I should have played cricket.
Well, guys, we still are fucking doing technical difficulties because we only had Rob. I mean, we're not gonna throw someone under the bus. You know, we're not Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson can do it. Why can't I?
Rob forgot one microphone cord, but that's why you're not gonna be able to hear Khalil unless something we say slanderous and Khalil yells it in. But I feel personally, Khalil likes us more because he doesn't need to do anything.
I don't know. He doesn't look too happy.
I think he was ready to get on the.
No. I meant
Why do you try to marginalize him?
No, because I just know how he is, bro. Before we get into everything, you know, announcements as always. Instagram, TikTok at the ScoreKeepers Pod. Make sure you follow that. Clips are coming soon. I'm already talking to someone. Clips are coming soon. Hopefully, sometime within the coming week. Also, we're on YouTube at the ScoreKeepers Podcast on YouTube. Khalil is dropping in the episode late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, whatever suits him. So please make sure to see that, and you can see the reactions. That's a block in the back, and we're going to get into that. Mm-hmm. Make sure you check that so you can see our reactions to everything. Whenever Brandon says something about Mario Cristobal, whenever Rob wants to tell me that Kirk Cousins is a living god. You'll see the reactions to all of that.
We don't talk about Mario. We talk about Gaddis these days.
Okay. So we'll just keep it moving. We don't have to do weekend recap. We could just go right into football.
Yeah.
Let's go right into football. First game. Right off the bat, we got the Chicago Bears losing to the Atlanta Falcons 24-27. We have Justin Fields having 153 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Also having 85 yards on the ground with 1 touchdown as well. Marcus Mariota having 131 yards and 1 touchdown. That's all I hear from him, bro. From Marcus. 100 and some change, and they win games. I don't know how they do it. I really don't. Oh, Cordero Patterson, though. He broke the record for most kickoff returns for a touchdown with 9. Not most returns, just kickoff returns. Yes. Devin Hester is still the GOAT, people. Never forget about that. The Buffalo Bills beat the Cleveland Browns 31-23. Josh Allen having 197 yards, 1 touchdown. Jacoby Brissett, 324 yards, 3 touchdowns. Amari Cooper having 113 yards and 2 touchdowns. I want to remind you guys that this game was supposed to be in Buffalo, but they had 6 feet of snow, so they moved the game to Detroit. Devin Singletary is 5'7". You wouldn't have been able to see him. The Patriots beat the Jets 10-3 on a Marcus Jones punt return for a touchdown with 5 seconds left in the game. Yes, that is the final score, 10-3. Mac Jones, 246 yards, no touchdowns. Zach Wilson, 9 completions for 22 attempts, 77 yards. Now, we have some controversy after the game. You know, someone asked Zach Wilson, do you think that you help? Or how'd it go, Brandon? You know how it goes.
They asked Zach Wilson, do you feel like you put the defense, you let the defense down?
Yeah, there you go. And he goes,
no.
Yeah. So much so, Richard Sherman came at him on Twitter saying that he only had 9 completions with 0 touchdowns. How would you feel, Robert?
They punted 10 times in that game.
That too. He also said that on Twitter. How would you feel, Robert? Your defense, you held the opponent. You truly held the Patriots to 3 points. Your special teams didn't come through. You truly held the other team to 3 points, and your quarterback comes out and says, I was not the one who was wrong. How would you feel as a defensive player?
Oh, no, I'd be pissed. Come on, man. You gotta show up. But he didn't have any turnovers, did he?
No.
Who cares? He threw for 80 yards.
Yeah, exactly, bro. 80 yards, 9 completions.
I just want
to We're not trying to see the good side of this. There's no positive coming out of it.
No. Hold on. All I'm gonna say is this: they punted the ball.
No,
he did his he didn't get anything to happen, but he punted the ball. The game basically was won on a punt return touchdown that should have been called back anyway.
Controversial. Yeah,
yes.
Blocking the back on around the 10-yard line of that return.
Look. First things first, okay? It's not like Mac Jones, I don't care for him, but he at least threw for 250 yards.
Or the Marcus Mariota.
He did something. He out here trying. And then the block in the back, let's be honest, it doesn't really matter.
You
They
know-
called
you know-
the block in back was at like the 10, whatever.
They would have
call
kicked
it
the field goal, and yeah.
They'd have kicked like a 35-yard field goal.
Exactly.
Anyway. So
How did Zach Wilson end up with a better QBR than Mac Jones? How is that even possible?
because Mac Jones sucks. Now,
No, but I'm looking at the stats like it is. Like Mac Jones was 23 for 27, and he still had a lower QBR.
check down Charlie don't really help you. I'm just saying.
You're probably right.
That's true.
Since we're actually talking about this game, do you mind if I just get freezing cold takes out of the way? It's only one,
Sure.
Go
and
ahead.
it's about this game.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, ready? Here we go. From Chris Sims,
Oh.
April 5th, 2021.
Oh, great.
As for the Jets, this likely means they're all in on Zach Wilson, which I obviously approve of. My number one quarterback in this draft. Feels like I'm watching Mahomes again.
No.
Exceptional throwing.
Nah, no
Best
shot.
arm in the draft. Amazing off schedule.
That's not real, is it?
It's real.
Is it a tweet?
It's a tweet.
That's a rough look. That's a rough look.
He was all
We
in.
need to start holding people accountable.
We do.
Honestly.
He's
There we
on
go.
this show.
I know.
He's
I
right
know.
there. Nobody asked Maria Taylor, where you at? Ask your boy.
Where your ass was at?
All right, next game we have the Saints beating the Rams 27-20. The Rams going to 3-7 on the year. Matthew Stafford 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. Andy Dalton 260 yards and 3 touchdowns. Chris Olave having 5 receptions for 102 yards and 1 touchdown. Matthew Stafford came out of this game with an injury. I don't know what kind of injury it was.
I'm so sorry. I have more on Zach Wilson.
Are you just looking at? Are we doing this live?
No. Well, I guess so.
This
is a quote.
Come on, bro.
This is a quote from him. It's worth it once you
From Zach Wilson.
From Zach Wilson.
Oh God.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Quote. I think you have to take into account it's windy as hell out there too, guys.
That's like when you airball the shot and you're like, it was the wind.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
Oh, by the way, that Matthew Stafford injury was a concussion, come to find out. Just look that up.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah. I think he'll be fine, though. We have the Lions going on the road and beating the Giants 31-18. Jared Goff, 165 yards. Danny Dimes, or as Saquon called him, you might like this, he called him Vanilla Vic. Do you approve? Daniel Jones having 341 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Led the ground game, too, with 50 yards and a touchdown as well. Javonte Williams leading the league in touchdowns overall. But the Giants, unbelievable. The Lions just going into their home and just absolutely dominating them all the way around.
Can we give some love
in
to
the
the
snow
Lions?
too? Come on. Now.
That's 3 in a row they've won.
Is it 3 in a row?
I still don't think
Yeah.
they're a good team.
They're 4-6. No one's really claiming them as a good
No,
team.
Monday thinks they're a good team. We're him, Robin. He thinks
I'm not gonna lie. They
I don't
are.
think they're a bad
I
team.
think they're a trap team.
Yeah.
I think they're like
They're
a
good enough to
big.
beat you.
You know who they are? A Big Ten school. Just
Oh, yeah.
that's who
They're
they are.
Iowa State.
Yeah, exactly. You just a team you don't want to have an off day on. You know.
Yeah.
it's a
But
bad
when
look.
they're also off, they're also
It's
off.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have that. We have the Ravens beating the Panthers 13-3. Nothing really crazy. Lamar Jackson, 209 yards, interception. Baker Mayfield, 196 yards, 2 interceptions. So woohoo! We have the Commanders beating the Houston Texans 23-10. Taylor Heineke, 191 yards. Davis Mills, 169 yards and 2 interceptions. What is going on with football today? Oh, Ron Rivera coming out and saying Taylor Heineke is the confirmed starter for the rest of the entire
As if we thought he
the
would
rest
go
of the
back
year.
to Carson Wentz. Come on, Ron.
Remember,
Come
that's
on,
the
Riverboat.
reason they weren't winning games, the quarterback play.
That is true. He did say that.
And then lastly, the Eagles beat the Colts 17-16 on a comeback, 190 yards, 1 touchdown from Jalen Hurts, also having 86 yards on the ground with 1 touchdown. Matt Ryan, 213 yards. Jonathan Taylor having 84 yards on the ground and 1 touchdown. Now, I understand the recap is fucking, Eagles in trouble, whatever. I was not here for the Thursday pod. You did not send a rundown in the chat to see if I could voicemail you guys to see if I could talk about anything. So I'm going to go Homer Pod on Thursday, by the way. Want to get that completely out of the way right now. I'm holding you two accountable. This one, I know he's fine. He's fine. You two.
I took the Chiefs.
No. What? You two. Let me start off with you first. Every week when we do the rundown, every time you just kind of slide something in the rundown on the NFL that we have to forcefully, no offense, because obviously good football team, we have to forcefully talk about the Dolphins every single week. You do that. You do that. No, you do that every single week. Best team in the AFC. What about the NFC? No, you only wanted to talk about the AFC this specific week. Oh, well, you want to tell me that the Vikings are the second coming. But guess what happened to them today? So can't have that. And then you, brother, you ended up talking about Texas A&M, and then you went on a tangent about the Hurricanes. Okay. At least you gave some love to the Eagles in the offensive thing. But speaking of,
I took the Chiefs and you blaming me.
Actually, well, no,
here,
hold on.
Argument was baseless.
Hold on. Hold on. I actually have stats and research. No offense. Like
no. That was the assignment.
Last week, before we had to shut it down, quote unquote, I actually screenshot a bunch of stats and research to tell you guys who is, in terms of points per game and all that bullshit.
I would actually love to hear it because I was arguing with him over the Chiefs and he had nothing.
I gave you stats. They're the number one offense.
Well, all right.
League,
So
hater.
this is from StatMuse. I trust StatMuse. This is an updated.
So do I.
Okay, this is an updated version of StatMuse. Okay, the
currently or going into like this week's game?
No, this is current. As of right now. As of right now.
Go ahead.
But I just want to say it kind of bounces around. I kind of did it all at the last second. But this is what I got. Team with the most total yards in 2022. The Bills currently have 4,174 yards in total. The Miami Dolphins have, this is, the teams in question, I would assume.
Yeah.
The Miami Dolphins have 3,915. The Chiefs have 3,808. Meanwhile, the other team we talked about, the Philadelphia Eagles, having 3,706 total yards. Now, in terms of total yards per game, Kansas City actually leads with 423. We got the Bills at 417, the Dolphins in third at 391, and the Eagles are literally right behind them at 370. So 1, 2, 3, 4, all like that.
Yeah.
Most passing yards. We got the Chiefs at 326 passing yards per game. The Dolphins, 305 passing yards per game. The Eagles on this list are actually all the way down at the bottom not all the way down at the bottom, middle of the road at 243 passing yards per game. All right. Most rushing yards. Now, this is where, you can transpire this. The Eagles are at the top 5 with 142 yards per game. And as you talked about with the trade of Jeff Wilson, as of that moment, I mean, he's only had 2 games. He's not even in the screenshot, the Miami Dolphins. That's how low you are in terms of rushing yards per game.
They were bottom 5.
Yeah, something like that.
They're not very good. I don't know if I said on the podcast, but I know prior to the Wilson trade, they were averaging I think it was between 75 and 80 yards.
Okay. Just want to let it be known, the Bills are 2 below the Eagles. The Chiefs are not even in the screenshot either.
Yeah,
just want to let that be known.
They throw the ball.
Just
zero run game to speak of.
Now, the most points per game, we have the Chiefs at 30 points per game, the Bills at 28.1 points per game, the Eagles at 26.3, and the Dolphins are at 7. So it was 1, 2, 3, and the Dolphins at 7 at 25.2 points per game. Now, the team with the most points, Bills, 281, Chiefs, 270, Eagles, 263, Dolphins at 6 with 252. Most turnovers. Now, this is where I was going to be a little discrepancy. The Dolphins lead all of those by 1. The Chiefs, the Bills, and all that, they all have 9, and the Eagles have 9. The Dolphins have 1 turnover extra. Also, most touchdowns, scoring the most points. The Eagles and the Chiefs are tied with 34. The Dolphins are at 31.
Crazy.
So there you go. All the homer people that fucking chose the Dolphins outright on the fucking Instagram, reel it the fuck back. All right? I will go out on a limb.
The poll, by the way.
The Dolphins obviously. Yeah, obviously.
I chose the Chiefs.
Actually, the Dolphins were first, if I remember correctly. It was either the Bills or the Eagles that were second. Like, it was close. I don't
Okay.
remember who was.
Well, all I'm going to say is this. Obviously, I didn't have my thoughts about the fucking Monday night massacre that was the Washington Commanders. But I will say this. Alex Kemp, you and me, we can fight on the street. That's the referee that called the late hit on Taylor Heineke. If that, if we can just, if every quarterback just kneels in the backfield, and then a late hit comes, everyone's going to just score. Everyone's just going to have a 15-yard penalty. Also, the other referee, I looked up every referee's name in the game, and I couldn't find the referee that did not call the face mask on Dallas Goedert. And now Dallas Goedert is out for 4 to 6 weeks. And you saw what happened today with Jack Stoll and Tyrese Jackson. So, yeah.
I like the name.
I mean, that's a pretty good tight end. Did he go to Iowa?
I don't know. Anyways, all I'm saying is, for me, maybe it's just a homer in me. As of right now, I will. Oh, this was another stat I wanted to throw at you. The Eagles were the only ones, up until today, obviously. The Eagles are the only team this entire season to score 20-plus points in every single game. Except one, and the one was today.
Okay.
So there goes with that. I personally think, like you said, now with everything going on, you guys are clicking. Now you're coming out of a bye week. I think the Dolphins are going to have probably the best offense in the NFL.
Which was my argument.
I'm saying up until this point, yes. Up until this point, I do think it's the Eagles. But we were arguing up until the point, and everyone picked the Dolphins. And the fucking in the poll.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did. I guess we maybe have a little time if you want to discuss it a little further.
I'm fine.
Like I said, I on the podcast I did say the Eagles. I didn't really talk much about them because, to be honest,
that was another thing I wanted to bring up. Go ahead. I thought about it just now.
I don't watch them that much. Obviously.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to have you. That's kind of why it would have been great.
Well, it would have been great if we had a rundown.
Yeah, but like I said, the Eagles. I think the Eagles have a really good offense. Like I said, my question with them is something that you brought up, which I believe I said on the podcast, was you seem to be a first half team, not a second half team.
And that was another thing that I wanted to bring up, was that I did say that in the beginning of the season, but I realized after the fact that in these games we were just running out clock. The Eagles
just like not trying to score.
That's what I thought. Yeah. The Lions game, we had to actually come back in that one. I mean, I don't need to go full breakdown. Vikings 24-7. You're running the ball in the second half. Eagles, Commanders 24-8. You're running the ball in the second half. The Jaguars and the Eagles, that game was actually close. That was an 8-point game, 29-21. Eagles versus Cardinals. We watched that game at their house. If you remember that game, they were running that ball down the Cardinals' throat from the third quarter to the fourth quarter. They just didn't get more points on the board, but they ran it all the way down their throats, all the way down into the end. Eagles-Cowboys, kind of iffy. Eagles-Steelers, they took out their starters in the start of the fourth quarter. Yeah. Eagles-Texans, same thing. They ran it down their throats. And then the Commanders, obviously, Quez Watkins, multiple fumbles. Don't even. You're on my shit list right now.
What? For what? Oh my God.
For a multitude of things. I can name like 3 off the top of the bat. And then today we had no run game. None. It was all Jalen Hurts, as you heard.
You're telling me about it.
Yeah.
Sanders and dirty.
So there you go. I just wanted to say that yes, we don't score a lot of points in the second half, but after watching more games, I do realize that we are running the ball more in the second half.
I don't know if you could. Well, you watched the game, so you might know. Explosive plays. I don't have the stats for you. I know the Dolphins stats.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can look it up. Let's see. Go ahead.
Because I do know my argument for the Dolphins, and again, it was moving forward.
Yeah.
I think it could be is just for aside from Jeff Wilson, like up to that point, the Dolphins have the most explosive offense in the NFL. Like that is not a question. The Dolphins, Waddle and Hill lead the NFL with 50, I believe it's 7 receptions of 15 yards or more, which is more than 25 teams in the NFL.
Okay.
And that's kind of, when you're talking about playoff football, you need a run game is big, which I think the Dolphins looks like they have now with Jeff Wilson. And the explosive plays, like sometimes you need some easy touchdowns, some quick 2-3 play drives where you get like a 40-yard completion, or you hit a big 50-yard touchdown, and the Dolphins have been able to do that all year. So,
who did you get that stat from? Do you know, or was it on Twitter?
It was something on Twitter. I think the stat itself, it was on Twitter. I saw it. It was a graphic. It either came from NFL.com or Pro Football Focus. Damn, I don't remember.
Stat Muse ain't helping me out here right now. All right, fuck it. I mean, it's nothing major. I mean, we definitely have more,
Your defense is better, though.
Well, that was another thing I wanted to talk about. The football, the Commanders, the football team. The Commanders obviously ran it down our throats the entire game. The entire game. I have not put that loss on Jalen Hurts at all. That loss is on Jonathan Gannon and Jonathan Gannon only. How you cannot stop the run in the NFL today, and we talked about it earlier. The rookie that is Jordan Davis, my baby boy. I mean, a rookie defensive tackle should not play that much of an impact as a football player, especially at the defensive tackle position.
Defensive tackle is not an easy position to play.
Exactly. But when, like we said, now after the fact, now he was gone. 3 yards when he's on the field, 6 yards per carry when he's off the field.
Y'all still have Fletcher Cox, dude, don't you?
Yes, but he's an older man now. He's an older man now. And that's why we signed Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph, who both today, I'm going to count that as a W. Both of them combined for 7 tackles, combined as one on a sack together. And I think had a couple key quarterback pressures as well. So
they played well.
I do got to give it to Howie Roseman on signing those 2 guys. I will give it to him on that.
Stop the run.
Yeah.
Played well.
But yeah, I guess that was it. I just wanted to clear, say my piece since I didn't get to on Thursday, since someone wanted to pull the trigger. But here we keep moving with the NFL. We got the Raiders beating the Broncos I didn't realize this game went into overtime. The Raiders beat the Broncos 22-16 in overtime. Derek Carr, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns. Russell Wilson.
Oh, he's had a 300-yard game?
Oh, shit. Yeah, he did, finally.
Good for him.
Yeah. Russell
How many
Wilson.
touchdowns?
2.
Oh, close.
Russell Wilson, 247 yards. Josh Jacobs, 109 yards on the ground. Holy shit. Devontae Adams. Put Patrick Surtain II in a blender.
Yeah,
do you want to know his stat line?
Last I saw, it was like 6 for 106 and a touchdown.
7 receptions, 141 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. I'm saving this game for last. Bengals beat the Steelers 37-30. Coming out of this game, Joe Mixon came out with a concussion. He ended up having a pretty decent day, though. Even still, Joe Burrow having 355 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Kenny Pickett, 265 yards, 1 touchdown. Najee Harris finally having the longest play for a touchdown for the Steelers this season. You want to know how long it was?
18 yards.
25 yards.
That's close.
Najee Harris, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. George Pickens having a good day, 83 yards.
Had a nice catch.
80. Yeah, I did see that. 83 yards, 1 touchdown. T. Higgins popping off 150 yards. And Samaje Perine, who came in for Joe Mixon, ended up having 3 touchdowns, all on pass plays. So there you go with that. And then we got the good one.
Your hate is strong.
Boy, I was wrong.
Woo, the Cowboys going on the road and just absolutely dominating, demoralizing the Minnesota Vikings 40-0. That's 4-0. That's a record in some leagues. That's 4-0 and then 3. You can't, that's double digits. 40-3. Dak Prescott. Not Cooper Rush.
So Kirk was not thugging.
No, not at all. 276 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins having 105 yards and nothing else from the Vikings. Tony Pollard, 80 yards on the ground, 6 receptions, 109 yards in the air with 2 touchdowns as well. I actually wanted to ask this question. When do the Cowboys get rid of Ezekiel Elliott? Because
I was going to say
Tony Pollard is by far the better running back on that team. He could, I'm obviously Cowboy hater over here. He could be a top 10 running back in the NFL if they gave him all the carries like they used to give Zeke.
Dude,
Tony Pollard is an
crime in the NFL.
Is an absolute monster.
Do you know how much money Ezekiel Elliott is making this year?
Too much, way too much.
$12 million.
You know how much he won't be making next year?
Do you know?
2.
Do you know how much Tony Pollard is making?
Probably in the thousands,
Like
plus
5,000,
incentives.
Like 500,000, right?
Plus incentives?
If I remember, I think it's like 625K.
That's unfucking believable, bro. Unbelievable. And they're gonna run him into the fucking dirt too. Every fucking play, every drive, the score, the 40 fucking points. Tony Pollard marched his way down the field, whether it was receiving or whether it was rushing. Marched it down the field. They got inside the 5-yard. Then they gave it to fucking Zeke.
I know. He's, by the way,
Zeke is getting
Tony
garbage
Pollard,
time fucking touchdowns, and I'm not here for it. That's fucking ridiculous, man.
Just want to say, Tony Pollard's making $1.1 million this year, so it's not that bad.
He's
a millionaire.
Including
That's 11 million less than the man who just gets on the one and runs forward.
His base salary is $9,065.
965,000.
965. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, I mean, look, it's they got him for the cheap. I don't know what that's what they
He's
got.
low-key their best wide receiver, too.
Okay, let's not start there.
CD don't always
Somebody
show
said
up.
CD. He said he's lazy. So now he just feel
No,
like
he is lazy though. He is.
He's been good the last 2 weeks.
He has been good the last 2 weeks, but he is lazy as fuck. He really is. And then here another one where I know this is gonna roll into the fucking Dolphins. And you're smiling, you're smirking right now because you know the rundown.
Oh no, that has nothing.
That has nothing to do.
No,
The game hasn't even fucking started yet, but we're gonna ask the question because the CEO wants it in the fucking rundown.
You could have objected to the rundown.
All right.
Everybody has power here.
The game of the Thursday night, fucking the Titans beat the Packers.
Yeah,
Whatever, 27-17.
Oh,
Always happens. I always forget the Thursday night game, but whatever. Chiefs Chargers. Literally about to kick off as we speak, but as your CEO has always said, you're going to find it out tomorrow. What does it matter? The Chiefs are favored by 5 points. They got Juju out, Mecole out, and Gerald Everett is out as well. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are coming back. Mike Williams coming back 2 games off injury. Keenan Allen has been having this fucking hamstring injury since Nam. He's been out for fucking missed 7 out of 9 games for a hamstring.
He looks fresh, though.
He went into the bye week, came out of the bye week, and said his hamstring got worse. How does that happen? Anyways, I never trust Keenan Allen in fantasy. I don't even play fantasy this year. Never trust him. Anyways, the question that on the CEO's mind is Justin Herbert good?
Yes, he has all the physical tools. He has the athletic ability. He has a big arm. He's played well in a lot of games, but he is. I don't even know what the updated record is.
5-4.
Their record.
The Chargers are 5-4 right now.
He's talking about his career record.
Oh, his career record.
I think he's still under 500 because I think coming into this year he was like 2 games under 500 and they're only 1 over, so he's probably like a game under 500 for his career. He just doesn't win games. You even look last week. They played the 49ers on Sunday Night Football. They put up like 16 points, and
Jimmy Garoppolo didn't even throw a touchdown for like the 8th game of his career or something wild like that.
Jimmy Garoppolo didn't even play well, and they lost. And I think, if I remember, didn't he throw a pick to lose that game?
I don't know. I didn't watch the game.
Pick to lose. I think it was the last possession. He threw a pick to lose it. Was it? Yeah, he threw a pick to lose the game. I mean, he's just.
Oh, there's Marquez Valdez-Scantling, the man you couldn't fucking remember last week.
Yeah. I asked him to name 2.
I was gonna name 2.
Yeah, I told you could Google it, but you didn't.
Sky Moore.
I didn't need to.
Yeah, that's another one. That was an easy one.
I didn't need to. I don't need to.
You could have said Mecole Hardman too.
He said that and you said he was injured. I remember.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead.
But yeah, like he's a good quarterback. Like, I don't think he's bad. I think, quite frankly, I don't think. I put on the story. I think I made a poll out of it too. That Herbert.
The redraft class.
Would you redraft the class? And personally, I don't think any of those teams would pick anybody else, at least at this point.
I don't think so either. I think everyone would stick the same. I genuinely think that everybody would have stuck the same.
Yeah, like if you gave everybody the number
you
one
could,
pick.
You could, because I think Joe Burrow was in that same class, right?
He was number 1.
You could maybe swap those 2 out. I'm not saying the records are going to be different. I'm just saying, like, in terms of team-wise, those are probably the only 2 that you could probably interchange and see what could really happen. You know what I mean?
I agree, but I also think that they're kind of similar too. Like I think Joe
That's why I'm saying you could like interchange them.
Joe's over 500 for his career, but not by much. Like I think he's hovering around 500 too for his career. So
what was the record?
To be honest with you,
what was the record going to the Super Bowl? They had to be like fucking 12-4 or something. 11-5.
I think they were close to 500.
There's no shot.
Yeah.
You need stats. Go.
Weren't they like the 6th seed?
Something like that.
Yeah, they were.
All right, go ahead, stats.
They were like 9-7 or like 9-8, whatever.
All right.
So Justin Herbert, his career record right now.
Oh, I was asking about the Bengals.
Oh, well, I'm about to give you Justin Herbert and then give you Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Okay, so Justin Herbert is 20-21.
Yeah, under 500, like I said.
By a game, yeah.
Okay, Joe Burrow has 18 wins, 17 losses, and 1 tie.
18 wins, 17 losses,
And a tie.
and a tie.
So right around 500.
Yeah.
So, and I think.
They were 10-7. That's not bad.
No, it's not
No.
bad. Like, look, Joe Burrow is a lot of that Joe Burrow record is his team was bad his first year. Granted, he got hurt in that season, but like still they were bad.
He only played like
2 games.
Yeah,
Through 2 or 3 games, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's when he fucked up his
tore
legs.
ACL.
No, I
Again.
know he did, but I thought he made it to like week 6.
No, he didn't make it that far.
But well, I mean, regardless, he's what the fuck was that?
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, look, I think he's a good quarterback. Like, I just think he's overrated. And like the perfect example is we were talking to Dion today, friend of the show. Dion said that not Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, if he was on a team like the Browns, he would be better because he has a run game to lean on and this and that and all that stuff.
I wanted to get everyone. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No.
I wanted to get everyone's thought on this. Do not parade me. All right. First off, Khalil, I know you don't have a mic, but you're also a Justin Herbert. I don't know how to.
Skeptic.
You just want to skip, or you got something to say from afar. The mic's right here.
I'm not a skeptic.
Okay. All right. Rob, you have anything to say before I say my piece?
I like Justin Herbert. I just don't think he should be. Some people are sitting there bragging like he's like a top 5 quarterback in the league. That's just a little too high.
They talk about him like he's like Joe Montana.
Like,
I think you guys are on the wrong
Montana,
Twitter because I don't see that at all.
Oh no,
I'm not talking
that
about
ain't even
Twitter.
On Twitter. That's on
not
TV.
Twitter.
I mean, maybe I'm not watching enough
TV.
Maybe I'm not watching enough TV. Maybe I'm
be
not.
fair,
But I personally don't see all that shit that you guys are talking about because obviously
you
the
also
two.
don't see it 'cause you're not a Dolphins fan. What's his name?
Who?
Who's the one? The Spanish dude.
You talking about Armando?
Armando. He always here for the Herbert stuff. Him and who the other one? Omar. Isn't Omar?
Oh yeah, Omar don't like Justin Herbert.
I know Justin Herbert and Tua will always be linked for the rest of their careers. As long as they stay on these two teams for the rest of their careers, they're going to be linked for the rest of their careers. Period. And end of story. But I think that's why you guys see it more because it's like, oh, what Justin Herbert do today? Oh, what Tua did today? Blah blah blah. What this? I've seen this on Twitter, and frankly, I do agree. I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all when I say these words that I'm about to say, but I've seen it on Twitter, and frankly, I do agree with it. Healthy Justin Herbert, healthy.
Health hasn't been his
Hold
problem.
on, I know. Well, now it is because he has a broken rib still. Just hold on, sugar. Let me give you the information. The healthy Justin Herbert on the Miami Dolphins with Mike McDaniel's offense system. Is this man not MVP favorite right out of the fucking gate?
No.
You really don't think that, Brandon?
Because Tua's skill set is built specifically for this. Herbert is a gunslinger.
I personally think Mike McDaniel's offense is one of those things where you could plug any fucking QB and he'll just be baller.
His offense is built on the ability to make quick reads. Justin Herbert can't do that. That's why Justin Herbert has problems. He does not read defenses that well.
But if you're fucking putting that in the system from the get-go, I personally think you will.
No, you have to look. Being able to make reads quickly and
diagnose the defense
and get the ball out is not like that's a skill.
It's an ability.
That's something that, and it's one of those skills that you can't just. It's almost. Can you learn it? Can you get better? Yeah, but it's one of those things. It's almost like you just either have it or you don't.
Like accuracy.
You know what I'm saying? And like I personally don't. Do I think Mike McDaniel is good enough a coach that he can make something work with Justin Herbert? Yes, absolutely. Justin Herbert is not trash. Justin Herbert is more talented than Tua. Like, don't get me wrong. He's more
Clip
talented.
that.
He's more talented than Tua. Do we?
That's all. To be honest,
Is that
from that? That's all I really wanted to hear.
a wild take,
No, because the way that you guys talk about him, I mean, I'm not here defending the man. He's an above average quarterback. I personally think he's in a bad situation with his godforsaken fucking team. His star wide receiver gone for 8 weeks.
See, that's the part where I have a problem, and I don't like, because the media and some people like what you're doing now is you're coming to his defense for that stuff. Yet for 2 years, everybody and their mama was ready to put Tua on a cross.
But there was a couple people
for
in
throwing to Matt Collins.
That was also Dolphins fans in themselves, Brandon. We've talked about it before. We've talked about that Tua was on a stake this season before Mike McDaniels did this.
I'm not talking about the Dolphins fans. I'm like Dolphins. Look, anybody, you're a fan of the Heat. They do the same shit. The Heat, the fans in Miami are probably the worst.
Clip that too.
It is what it is.
You're a fan too, you idiot.
No, I know, but he said you're a fan of the Heat. It's been discussed on this podcast that I'm not. Clip that.
It's the problem I have is you're giving a pass for Herbert to something you didn't, not you personally. A pass to Herbert for something that you won't give Tua.
Okay.
And you'll try and worse off, like, okay, Herbert I can maybe let slide a little bit because, like I said, ultimately he is more talented. But like when we're talking about like Mac Jones and Zach Wilson being better than that's ridiculous.
No, I mean,
come on.
I don't know what national media you're following, but I don't know. I don't follow that.
You watch any show, national TV show.
Why are you getting mad at me?
Radio broadcast, podcast. You hear how they talk about Mac Jones? You don't watch SportsCenter?
I don't, actually. I have to go to work in the morning.
Well, that's why. If you watch SportsCenter, if you hear them, they'll probably turn on Zach Wilson now because Mike Greenberg was not happy with him. But I
haven't watched SportsCenter in God knows how long.
If you hear them talk about Mac Jones.
Who?
Like they still like Mac Jones has not been
Get out of my house.
at all this year. He has been terrible. He at least last year he was just like.
And they're
mediocre.
also going to be linked too, just because Mac and Tua.
They're in the division, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
look,
also Alabama.
Yes.
Yeah.
And look, Mac Jones he's worse than he was last year.
He's worse. Period.
And they still talk about him. And like even today, I think it was on the post game show of this game, they were talking about. Actually, no, this pertains
the grittiness.
This pertains to Zach Wilson. They were talking about how this game was a bad game because these two coaches make it. I think it was like these two coaches. They're great coaches and they make it hard for young quarterbacks. What?
Okay. Are you good now? Do you feel better now?
No.
Do you want to keep it moving? You final thoughts on the NFL?
Did you watch? Did you see?
I watched Red. What I do is I put my game on the TV and I have Red Zone on my phone.
Dude, Zach Wilson threw a ball over the middle, sailed it over his receiver. It hit Devin McCourty straight in the chest. That bum should have picked that thing off. That was one of the worst throws I've ever seen in my life.
All right. Any final thoughts on the NFL? Everyone good? You, him? Great. NCAA. Woo! What a week in college football it was. Oh, my God. Can't wait to talk about it. If my phone would load. We have Navy beating UCF.
Don't you miss that when Navy used to wreck people's seasons?
17-14. They had one pass that was incomplete, and they won 17-14. We have Michigan barely scraping by Illinois at home, mind you, 19-17. Controversial call coming out of this game. Tell me you saw that offensive pass interference.
Yeah, it was gross.
Bro, did you see it, Rob? Did you see the offensive PA? Bruh, it was a wide receiver, like, bubble screen, whatever. I'm already blocking Brandon. The ball is still in the quarterback's hands by he's still looking the wide receiver down. and the wide receiver is just straight up blocking the cornerback. Both of them, mind you. Both of them. I don't know how that happens, but both. So they scrape by with a win, 19-17.
DB.
Say it with me, everybody. Say it with me. All hail the Hypno-Toad.
TCU beating Baylor 29-28 on a fire drill field goal.
Let's get a round of applause for that. That was well executed.
That was well executed. I did not think they were going to win that game at all, honestly. Is that?
Yep, Trey McKitty, I believe. Nope. Palmer.
Jesse Palmer?
He was on the team.
I think that's it.
We have what's next? We have nothing. Oh, Ohio State and Maryland was a good game.
That was a good one.
Leading into it. My bad. Georgia beat Kentucky 16-6. Just going to talk about the top 4 teams. Georgia beat Kentucky 16-6. Did you watch this game?
I did not.
Okay. We ran the ball 50 times.
Oh.
50.
A la Navy.
50 fucking times. Apparently, because I watched the game at Twin Peaks. No. Apparently, there was 25-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah, exactly. 16-6 over them. We have, I'll get to that in a second. Georgia Tech ruining the ACC to go to the fucking playoff. Georgia Tech beating North Carolina 21-17. Erased a 17-point deficit from the second half on.
Georgia Tech.
Oh, my God. They're 1 game away from being bowl eligible.
Georgia Tech.
And they play Georgia next week in Georgia.
That's
so, Arkansas upsetting Ole Miss 42-27. Oklahoma upsetting OSU 28-13. What happened?
That game was nasty.
Why are you looking at me?
Bro, they were up 21.
There you go. You're the only one that caught on to that. Let's go. You know that, right? Please tell me you know that. Oh, okay. USC beating UCLA 48-45. Lincoln Riley is my guy, though, by the way.
They're 5th in the
big time hate
poll, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
I knew you hate him.
Yeah.
I thought he loved him.
Nah. And then Oregon beat Utah 20-17. Biggest. Well, good and bad for me. South Carolina.
Boy.
Beating Tennessee.
Boy.
63-38. On the upsetting side, Hendon Hooker has a torn ACL. Prayers up to him.
Unfortunately.
I personally think he's gonna be fine coming into the NFL. But shout out
his draft stock.
Yeah, shout out to him. But
he lost his Heisman anyway after
63-38, absolutely dominating Tennessee. They ran out of fireworks.
Yeah, they did. That was gross.
Spencer Rattler.
Bro, you saw what they're saying about Josh Heupel after the game?
What, that he looks like Bobby from King of the Hill?
No, he's looking for a neutral field.
Oh. Spencer Rattler. I gotta give credit to Spencer Rattler. I talk shit on his name for 2 years. 438. They're still 7-4. What? Reel it back.
He had his moment.
438 yards and 6 touchdowns. So shout out to him. But just absolutely ruining Tennessee's playoff hopes. But speaking of playoff hopes, we have Georgia number 1. Everyone's keeping the same. Georgia number 1, Ohio State number 2.
No. By rule, Vandy is getting
Oh, my fucking God, bro. All right, shut the fuck up.
Vandy, 2 in a row, baby.
Georgia.
Still more than Texas A&M.
Georgia, more than a lot of teams. Want to let that be known.
Yeah.
I could look it up real quick, but I don't think I have the time. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. Where do we rank? Who's the next 2? You got to have USC.
USC should be there.
USC has to be there.
They're not you in the top 6?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, my top. It's Georgia. I still have Georgia 1. I'll still put Ohio State number 2. I'm gonna go number 3, the Hypno-Toad.
Okay.
I don't like that performance from Michigan. TCU.
Baylor's game was on, or TCU's game was on the road.
Yeah.
So I'll give that to
they
them.
did, and it's they've kind of done that all year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give the Hypno-Toad number 3. I'm gonna give Michigan number 4. Outside looking in, I'm gonna go Oregon 5.
Wow.
How are you gonna do that, Brandon?
possible?
They have 2 losses on the
Do
season.
Yes.
Georgia and then Washington.
Oh shit, they did.
Yeah.
lose to
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
You
So you
gotta-
have to have USC.
yeah.
Or
No.
Clemson.
No.
Clemson only has one loss.
So,
They have 2.
No, they have one loss.
no, they have one loss.
They're 10-1.
They have
I
one
would have Clemson as my 6th.
But they're 9. They have one loss, but they're 9th.
Oh shit. Oh,
They'll
then they did
probably
ruin their
move up.
ACC champion.
What do you mean
Never
they're
mind.
9th?
Then yeah, I'll go USC 5. Any other one-loss teams? Am I missing somebody?
Clemson.
Clemson's the only one.
Yeah,
'cause
Clemson's
after
the only
that,
one left.
You'd have to have
It'd
LSU.
be LSU at 2.
You're not going to take LSU. You're going to take LSU over
I
Clemson?
know.
Well, that was going to be my question about the playoffs. So you would have everyone that has a one-loss team
I will
with
go-
championship hopes in the top 6.
I will go Clemson 6. Yeah, I will.
Well, Michigan's undefeated, so you have them with them
Yeah.
as well, and Ohio State as well.
Mhm.
So everyone that has a one loss or is undefeated with championship hopes, top 6.
Yeah.
Now let me throw a wrench into the mix.
What you got?
LSU beats Georgia. Now what?
LSU beats Georgia?
Yeah,
Georgia should still make it.
Georgia still makes it. They're not number 1. LSU's not in.
that's insane.
LSU's 5.
SEC champion
Well,
is not in the college football playoff
It just depends on what everything else plays out, though.
like last year.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this last year on the pod that you know never aired. If Oklahoma State had won their Big 12 championship, Alabama, I would say, whooped our ass. You could have had the case for Oklahoma State going in, but they lost.
Yeah.
So
I would have, in that case, you know, look, Ohio State still has a big game against Michigan, and then they'll have.
which is this week, by the way. Do
This
you want to
week.
make a bet? You want to get rebirthed again this weekend? No?
I don't have a pool anymore.
We good?
And then I think, yeah, then the winner of that game would play for the Big Ten title.
Yeah.
So I would have the Big Ten champion.
Which is probably Iowa.
Ah, shit, it is Iowa,
Yeah.
isn't it?
That fucking Midwest division.
They need to do something.
You saw the SEC is going to change to fucking 14-team fucking format
Just-
or whatever.
Yeah.
Just a free-for-all. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously not learning from the Pac-12 fucking 5-way tie or whatever.
I mean, you could. I mean, I don't know, man.
Me personally, Georgia, Ohio State.
Well, the SEC would have enough good teams that they could do a division.
Well, they have the division now,
Yeah, like they could just keep it. Like,
but they're changing it. That's
I
what
know-
I'm saying.
I know they are, and I know why they're doing that.
With Texas and Oklahoma come.
I see why they're doing that because that's kind of the way it's going now. But like I just don't think the SEC has that problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Like
get
the
you.
Big Ten has that problem because
The Pac-12 has that problem. The
literally
Big
all the
12
good-
has that problem.
The ACC has that problem. Like every
Yeah.
other conference has the problem where it's like, all right, like fine, you got Clemson wins. You know, Wake Forest is good right now, and you know NC State's pretty good too. So like that division's kind of competitive, but you know, like I mean, this year North Carolina's they got 2 losses.
2 losses now.
That's not terrible, but like you know, like there were years where like you know like 7 or 8 wins gets you to the ACC championship game just because you're in the Coastal. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so like I see why like that the ACC is changing to that format. Oh man, they should have let that go. That'd have been great. I see why the ACC is changing to that format because it just makes sense. But the SEC, like I think they have their divisions balanced out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's a problem for them. They're going to add Texas and Oklahoma. You just separate the both of them, or you move them into the same one if you want to keep the Red River rivalry, and then you just move somebody else over. But I don't know.
Now, just want to let you guys know, playoff implication games next week we have, and you'll do it with the Friday pick'em. Just want to let it be known now. Ohio State, Michigan is at 12 o'clock. I want to let that be known.
I will be watching that.
And TCU plays Iowa State, but that game's at TCU, so they'll be all right. But that's pretty much it. Everyone else is kind of coasting on through. Oh,
Clemson gets South Carolina.
USC has Notre Dame in USC. Notre Dame's still ranked.
Notre Dame's been better.
They have been better. I'm not worried about it either. LSU plays Texas A&M in Texas A&M. And then Clemson plays South Carolina, who just put up 70.
You mean the Texas A&M that was playing a 3-point ball game with UMass?
We didn't even talk about it. We didn't even talk about it. That stadium was empty by fucking halftime. Hitting them with I hope we fucking win. I hope we win. Already hitting them. Fucking, they hit him with the goddamn cannon.
Yo.
Fucking competitive edge. What the hell is that shit?
That was nasty.
Going on for a fucking team prayer. Just shooting the cannon right into their face.
Yeah, that was gross.
All right. Me personally, I'm going to have Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. I'm going to have USC right there. And then I guess, yeah, like you said, I guess Clemson there as well. It's going to come down.
Dude, Clemson's a good team.
It's going to come down to we're not homering today.
No.
Okay. Okay. TCU, it's going to come down to those last three. I think that's what it comes down to. I think whoever loses that Michigan Ohio State game is out of the playoff. Period.
I think they're
because
out.
they're not even going to be in the championship.
But what I could see, I think this might be one of those years.
Mm-hmm.
You know the Big 12 and the Pac-12.
TCU is on their way to play Kansas State right now, by the way.
Yeah, they don't get a lot.
Who they almost lost to.
They don't get a lot of respect in general.
Yeah.
I could see if either one of those championship games. I don't know who USC is looking to play. Maybe is it Oregon? Probably.
I don't know. Give me a sec. Keep talking.
And then you said TCU, Kansas State. Like if those games are close, and Clemson comes out and just dog walks UNC, I could see Clemson getting in.
They're on track to play Oregon. Yeah.
And so they can easily lose that game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And Clemson, like that Clemson defensive front, their front seven is they're good. They're good, man.
I think the only reason why we're finally putting respect on TCU is because of everything that they have. Like they almost have like a magnet towards them, like with the Hypno Toad and everything like that. Yeah. I'm not gonna say team of destiny, but it's fun to watch. They're
like Cinderella.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why they have.
They're a good team, but I honestly don't think they're one of the 4 best teams in the country.
They're undefeated.
I know they are.
In the Power 5, and I'm not doing Group of 5 anymore. We saw how that worked out.
I'm not doing that.
No,
either.
Power 5 only, or move it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Look, I think I'm not saying I'm not saying like they're not like a top 10. I think they're a top 6 team in the country.
Yeah,
like, they're good. I'm not saying they're not a good team. I don't think they're one of the 4 best in the country.
Do any of you see a 2-loss team finally being in the playoff this year?
No.
No.
The only chance is if LSU beats Georgia, and I don't.
You know how Georgia plays in that dome. I've shared it before. So, but I guess that's it for college football. So, anything, Khalil? Final thoughts?
Put the power.
Please, pardon me. Sorry, hold on. Go ahead.
Shout out to Max Verstappen for winning the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Obviously sealing the deal on the Drivers' Championship. Sergio Perez came in 3rd, all because of that one race where Verstappen just didn't want to be generous to his teammate. Tough sight.
Hey man, look, Checo wins the races that Max can't.
Not a team player.
It's a sad day for Red Bull. And it's still sad for Red Bull because Sebastian Vettel finally retiring, the greatest Formula 1 driver for Red Bull. What a legacy. What a career.
By the way, that's low-key not why he lost that race. He low-key lost that race because he spent like a lap and a half behind Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You didn't watch it?
No, I was driving back. I saw...
so there was a point. He was like... there was like probably like 15 laps ago or something. Like he was out here gaining. He was chasing down Leclerc. They were talking about it. He's like, can we get Leclerc? They're like, yeah, at this pace we got him, no problem. And then like probably like a minute after they said that, he had like chased down Lewis Hamilton. He had passed Hamilton, but Hamilton like let him go so he could get the DRS. Passed him
and went right back around him.
And then he like got stuck behind Hamilton for probably like a lap and a half, like with that exchange. And that's what probably.
But didn't Hamilton finish 4th?
He did not finish. He retired with like a lap left.
Oh shit! Oh wow! Oof. Well. Oh well. Fight the power as always. That's all I got.
All right. Did you have fun in Universal? Yeah. Good. Brandon, final thoughts?
Josh Gaddis.
Oh my god.
Oh my fucking eyes!
Come on, man.
I'm not making this a rant. He's upset me too much. I've ranted too much about him this weekend.
You won't stop.
Just look. Either if you're gonna stay around, just make it make sense. That's all. I just need it to make sense. I'd prefer you leave. Leave me alone. Leave my team alone.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
That's it.
That's it? All right.
If you allow me to continue, it's going to turn into a rant. I don't want to.
Cut him off.
I just want to say shout out to Jalen Hurts. I don't give him a lot of credit, but today he fucking put the team on his back when, Jesus, it looked like it was her. I couldn't lose Jeff Saturday.
I was going to feel bad.
Bro, my heart would have. Bro, after last week and then this week, losing to fucking Jeff Saturday.
Hey.
At least Riverboat Ron fucking has coaching experience under him, bro.
It doesn't matter.
I couldn't,
He's
man.
a leader of men.
Look, bro. Look, I'm watching Friday Night Lights now. I don't think Coach, whatever the coach in that, he's a leader of men. Ed Orgeron is a leader of men as well. He needs to lead himself. He needs to lead himself first. But
boys to men.
But I think there are coaches out there that can coach the way he coaches, but he had no coaching experience, like none. Whatever, bro.
So he's Dan
Campbell? At least he had tight end coach experience. Speaking of Dan Campbell,
was a high school coach in Indianapolis, and
I think he went to the state. He went to the state championship.
He was an offensive line consultant this year as well.
His last year there, he was 3-8.
Oh, are you serious?
Shout out to Jalen Hurts. Like I said, I'm proud of you, bro. I really am. And also, it will be Monday, November 21st, and your Georgia Bulldogs are still your national champions. Also, Georgia Bulldogs stat, first time going back-to-back undefeated in conference play. 2 teams have done it over the span of the SEC divisions. Can you give me the 2 teams?
I know one was Alabama.
From 08 to 09.
And I believe Florida.
95 to 96. All right. And Georgia's obviously just broke that record as well. So that's all I got. You?
Oh, okay.
That's crazy. I would have thought Alabama's done that.
Just an announcement.
Isn't that the AJ McCarron era?
Yeah.
Probably.
And Blake Sims?
Oh, AJ McCarron.
Rough time in the SEC. Yeah, it's not the same.
Just an
I'm sorry. Blake Sims was a running back playing quarterback.
Yeah, I thought they would have done it more.
Yeah, me too.
Just a couple announcements. We will not be having a show for Friday, obviously, because it is Thanksgiving. So
we're doing this?
Happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys out there. That's in your families and your loved ones. And happy Black Friday. And then also,
shout out to the toaster. Was it a toaster? Conventional oven.
Toaster oven.
It was a toaster.
It was a toaster oven. Great. Hey.
Never forget.
Yeah, never forget. Greatest Black Friday deal by the tribe.
Black Friday special.
That toaster oven you got for like $10.
It was 30, but it was a steal.
It was a steal.
It was like $10. $9.99.
$9.99. What a steal.
Yeah, bro.
All right, and then also, we would love you guys to send us. What was it?
Oh, I got you.
You already have one?
I have a new one. Yes, I had the one that I told you about. I just told Robert about this one like 2 hours ago.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Wait, so before you're doing the voicemail question, right?
Yeah.
All right. Again, guys, voicemail question. Brandon will post it again. You guys will be heard probably on the Sunday podcast, following, or Monday, whatever, when you hear it, on the following. So if you want your voice to be heard, this is the thing that we were talking about for 2 weeks until we had to shut down the podcast for a week.
Shut it down.
If you want your voice to be heard on the podcast without crazy expletives, I'm looking at you, Eric Gomez.
Wow.
And him only.
How you put his name on there? The government.
I'm looking at you. If you have anything to say about what Brandon is coming, the question that Brandon is coming with, by all means, send a voice note to the Instagram at the ScoreKeepers Pod, and your voice will be heard on the pod. Go ahead, Brandon.
So it's some interesting times we live in. And,
yes, sir.
You're setting this up for real. Oh, God.
I am. Yeah.
You got time.
We got time, brother. Some interesting times we live in. A lot of stuff going on, particularly with the cryptocurrency, the funny money, as some people like to call
Is
it.
this sports related?
It is sports related. Relax.
I mean, technically, we don't have a name no more.
First things first, it's sports related anyway because them crypto stuff is all over everything. FTX has like they did have a sponsorship with the Heat Arena. They still have
It's
one with the
about to be the
Wizards.
BBC Center.
That's right.
Pause on that one. By the way, just
No,
ahead.
don't interrupt me. And so it inspired me. What's going on right now with the cryptocurrency and FTX and all that stuff has inspired me because there are a lot of people that talked about cryptocurrency as though it's a fraud or, a scam, whatever, all that kind of stuff. And at the same breath, there are a lot of people who made a lot of money off of it, number one, and who defended it to the death till they're broke now.
And NFTs.
Yeah, that too. And so it inspired me. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what take do you have on, it could be a team, a player, that you believe with your heart of hearts is or was a fraud.
you know mine.
Who's yours?
Brock Osweiler stole a lot of money.
Yeah.
a fraud.
Heist.
A fraud. And everybody else was telling you, nah, this is the real deal. So I want to hear from you. We want to hear from you.
So the most fraudulent player in your sports eye.
In your sports, but the caveat, people have to be telling you that you were wrong. Like, don't tell me like you had Greg Oden being a fraud or whatever or something like that. No.
Yeah.
Like somebody, you're like, nah, I'm not here. I don't care what the numbers say. He's a fraud.
You know who mine was for the longest?
Huh.
Christian McCaffrey. That's real. That's real.
See, that's a good one.
That's
I'm
real.
See, that's a good one.
Well, also, caveat to that, I hate both the Bosa brothers, too. I can't stand either of them.
Personal reasons.
So,
They're just
no, I've seen them play at St. Thomas. I know what
people.
I know what that is. But I had Christian McCaffrey, and it came to fruition. Took a long time, but it came.
By the way,
Pause.
should not just be players. Can be coaches.
Oh yeah, anyone. All right.
Be coaches,
So who
executive
do you
teams.
think is the most fraudulent player in sports? Put it on the poll at the ScoreKeepers pod. Send us voicemail, everything. Let us know, and your voice will be heard on next week's pod.
He lied. Y'all niggas worship him.
Solid. Look at you. It only took you a week and a half.
Get out of here.
You have final thoughts? Are we going around thankful bullshit, or
Dude,
can
no, we don't have to do
No,
it. I
I'm
wanna
thankful
do
for
it.
friends, family, and good times. Woohoo! Let's
Thankful
wrap
for
it
my
up.
new TV. All right, so boy,
Okay.
I only have like one final thought. I'm gonna have to bleep it out anyway, so might as well just start gearing up the music because I'm not gonna have Khalil put this on YouTube. So yeah, my final thought. Herschel Walker's a cool. So this has been the greatest episode from the ScoreKeepers podcast.
Yo.
We will see y'all.
That's gonna be an audio.
Next week Friday.
I second that motion.
No, I was gonna say, what is that? An audio exclusive?
Yeah, but I'm bleeping it out.
All right.
But I'm gonna say it again. He's a cool. So we'll see y'all next week.
This is more work for him.
We out.